Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. If you're watching this, there's a really good chance you already understand that underlying, anxiety of managing cross-border finances. Just imagine you've made the big move abroad for work. Every single month, you're earning a salary in US dollars, euros, dirhams, whatever it is. But your financial life isn't just in one country, right? You might still be paying rent, maybe supporting your parents back in India, or earning dividends from Indian shares. Earning in multiple currencies while juggling local obligations, it can feel incredibly overwhelming. But hey, today, we're going to fix that. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The NRI dilemma. 2. Decoding NRE accounts. 3. Decoding NRO accounts. 4. The NRE versus NRO showdown. 5. A real-world application. And finally, 6. Common mistakes to avoid. I promise we're going to demystify these banking acronyms and give you crystal clear rules of engagement for your money. All right, Section 1, the NRI dilemma, managing money across borders. Let's really picture that dual income expat life. You're navigating a new country, bringing in overseas income, but your financial roots are still firmly planted in India with maybe a rental property or some fixed deposits. Which brings us to the million-dollar question, and honestly, the central stakes of this entire explainer. Which bank account should you actually use? NRE, NRO. Choosing the wrong one isn't just a minor hiccup. We're talking massive taxation headaches, repatriation nightmares, and just a whole lot of unnecessary banking friction. Before we compare the accounts, let's set our baseline by defining exactly who an NRI is. A non-resident Indian is an Indian citizen living outside India for employment, business, or education. And here is the absolute kicker. Once your status changes to NRI, keeping your regular resident savings account active is actually against Indian banking regulations. No joke, you generally can't continue using it. You are strictly required to redesignate it or convert it to the appropriate NRI account. So let's dive into our first bucket of money. Section 2, decoding NRE accounts, the overseas bucket. The absolute golden rule of the NRA account is incredibly simple: foreign income only. This bucket is strictly for money earned outside of India. So whether that's your US salary, your Dubai business income, or savings in the UK, when you deposit those foreign earnings, the money gets converted right into Indian rupees. And guys, this is why people absolutely love this account. Yes, it's kept in Indian rupees, but the emotional win of the NRE bucket, it is fully repatriable. That means both the principal amount you deposit and the interest you earn can generally be transferred back abroad without any restrictions whatsoever. You can move every single rupee back overseas whenever you want. And the cherry on top? The interest you earn is generally exempt from Indian income tax. It's just an incredible tool for tax-efficient savings. All right, moving right along to the second bucket. Section 3, decoding NRO accounts, the local roots bucket. Now, if the NRE was for your foreign cash, the NRO account is exclusively for income that originates inside India, period. If you're an NRI but you're still receiving money locally, like apartment rent, a pension, Indian share dividends, or selling off a family asset, this is exactly where that money belongs. Let's rapidly run through these NRO features, because you've got to be a bit more cautious here. Like the NRE, it's maintained in Indian rupees. A super helpful feature is you can hold it jointly with a resident Indian, which is great for managing family finances. But let's slow down for a second. The interest you earn in an NRO account is generally taxable in India. Banks will usually deduct TDS, or tax deducted at source, right off the bat. Plus, while you can repatriate the interest, sending the principal back abroad is subject to strict Reserve Bank of India limits and requires specific documentation. You just don't have that same absolute freedom as the NRE bucket. Okay, on to Section 4, the NRE versus NRO showdown, head-to-head. Putting them side by side like this really hits the nail on the head. Notice how the source of your funds literally dictates everything else. Foreign income goes to NRE, where it's tax-free and freely repatriatable. Indian income goes to NRO, where it's taxable and subject to RBI limits. So the big takeaway here is that one account isn't magically better than the other. It's all about best use. NRE is your tool for saving overseas earnings, while the NRO is your tool for managing Indian income. Concepts are great, but let's see it in action. Section 5, real-world application, Rahul's 2 buckets. Meet our fictional expat, Rahul, living over in Canada. What's really interesting here is that it proves you don't just choose one account. Rahul earns a salary every month in Canadian dollars, right? That money goes straight into his NRE account.
But he also owns an apartment in Bengaluru generating 40,000 rupees a month in rent. Because that's local Indian income, it gets credited to his NRO account. By physically separating his funds into these two distinct buckets, Rahul stays completely compliant, no mixing, zero headaches.
Almost done here. Let's cover Section 6, Common Mistakes to Avoid to Stay Compliant.
Please, whatever you do, avoid these 5 massive traps. First, do not just continue using your resident savings account without telling your bank once your status changes. That's a major compliance trap. Second, never deposit Indian rental income into your NRE account. Remember, NRE is strictly for foreign funds. Third, don't ignore the tax implications on your NRO interest. It is taxable, though you might find some relief under a double taxation avoidance agreement depending on where you live. Fourth, don't assume you can just freely transfer money out of an NRO without this strict documentation. And finally, assuming you have to choose just one account when both would benefit you is a huge missed opportunity.
So let's wrap your ultimate strategy up into 3 simple steps. Step 1, use an NRE account for your unrestricted tax-free overseas earnings. Step 2, use an NRO account to catch and manage any local Indian income or expenses. And step 3, honestly, for most NRIs, the absolute best strategy is just to open both. Having both buckets lets you manage all your bases with maximum flexibility and zero compliance stress. We've covered the rules, the buckets, and the pitfalls, so I'll leave you with this to think about. Are you currently using the right account for where your income is actually coming from? Or is it time to open both and finally get your financial house in order? Take a good look at your setup, audit those accounts, and make sure your hard-earned money is working for you in exactly the right bucket.